Everyone, I've had a lot of requests, people wanting to know what the Rupert Neve Designs 5059 satellite sounds like, as well as questions about the Burl B2 Bomber ADC. I want to talk about how I'm using these two pieces of outboard gear in my hybrid system. I'm in Pro Tools. I'm running Universal Audio X8s, and I want to show you guys what it sounds like to run the 5059 through a mix versus what things would sound like not going through the 5059 and a Burl B2 converter. This is pretty simple. I'm going to try to do the expedited version, but as you can see up here at the top of my session, I have 8 channels, okay? These are 8 stereo auxiliary buses, right? And so I'm sending all of my drums to this stereo bus, all of my bass to this separate stereo bus. 8 channels of stereo, which is 16 channels of mono, in which the 5059 can handle that, right? It can receive 16 mono inputs. So I'm pre-summing all of my drums, my bass, my vocals, guitars, keys. I've got an auxiliary stereo bus, an auxiliary texture bus that I use for things like pads and other synthesizers that are in the background, and then an EFX bus where I run all of my reverbs and delays. So as you can see, I'm sending these out of the X8 stereo left and right. So X8 A1, which I have 2 units. I have an Apollo X8A and Apollo X8B. You can see those here. So drums is going out of the outputs of 1 and 2. Bass is going out of the outputs of 3 and 4, 5 and 6, et cetera, et cetera. Those are then being sent to the 5059, right? So my drum bus, as an example, goes out of Pro Tools and into channels 1 and 2 on my 5059. All of these are sent to the 5059 and they're summed down to just a stereo left and right. That output is being sent to the inputs of my Neve 33609 Japanese Discrete. That's for compression. And then after my Neve, I send that into the Burl, the B2 Bomber ADC, into the transformer inputs. That then hands off to this master bus. So I'm receiving the Burl signal that's been converted back to digital and passed to my Apollo. So I have the conversion turned off on the Apollo side, so it's not double converting, and it's just being handed off via this SPDIF signal, right? SPDIF signal. I don't know how you say that. Anyways, that's how I'm receiving this back. And this is the final stage before it hits my ears, right? So again, to go through this, you know, down here for an example, I'll show you real quick. This is, here's the drums for this chorus section. And that's going up here to this stereo bus and being sent to the 5059 through my Neve, through the Burl, and back into the master bus. So I'll turn that off real quick. So that's the signal path, right? Everything through the 5059, ultimately through some stereo compression, through the Burl, which is converting that signal and sending it back into my Apollo X8, in which case I am receiving it on my final master bus here. All of these plugins are final treatment before I hear them in my room. Okay, so that's the fastest version to explain this signal process and how I'm doing it on a hybrid system. You'll notice up here I've got an SSL. Why do I have, 2 compressors? I'm not using the Neve 33609 right now in this mix. I have it in bypass. I found that it's a little too gluey and a little too warm bear hug, if you will, for this song. And the SSL is just handling the transients a little bit better. I got a little bit more punch and life out of using the SSL compressor on the song. So I'm currently not using the Neve 33609 in this song. I'm instead using this SSL to glue things together. Probably, I've got something like -1 or -2, just kind of gluing this thing here. Also, I've got a Lion master on this thing. If you all haven't used this, from Safari Pedals, shout out to those guys. Incredible plugins. A little bit of saturation, a little bit of EQ. This also does some nice gluing. And then, Pro Q4 for some top end in the sides. I'm taking out some tubbiness in the song and the vocals from middle of 300s, it looks like. And then, the Pro L2 is kind of the last thing before I'm hearing this in my headset or over my speakers. this clarity meter, so I can see integrated LUFS and levels on my meter here on my desk. So that's what that's for. Okay, so let's now take a listen to the song from the beginning. You all might hate this. Shout out to my band Coupe, Marra. You can follow us on Spotify if you guys are interested. We'll probably put this song out in the next couple of months. We're still working on some parts of the arrangement. But yeah, this is going to be a little listen through. And what I'm going to do after this is let you guys hear what the drums sound like through the 5059 and the Burl versus just inside of my DAW or in the box. So I'll show you what the 5059 and the Burl are doing in tandem to the drums, and then you can hear what that sounds like if I were to just run it inside of Pro Tools. All right, here we go.
It took many years before I'd learned that my Aphrodite would light that match just to watch me burn. Like smoke from a flame, she left in a rush. Then apathy started playing games with whom to trust. Why is it so tough to find where I belong? Maybe I'm looking in all the wrong places. Don't know what I need or I'm chasing. The love I seek, the friends I keep, it just ain't enough. Maybe I'm looking in all the wrong places. Why do I chase the latest and greatest? The problem with acceptance, it's my favorite drug. Maybe I'm looking in all the wrong places. In all the wrong places.
All right, so that's a little taste of what this song is sounding like through this hybrid system. So I'm going to solo out my drums now and let you guys hear this through the 5059 and the Burl coming back in through my master bus, and then I'll let you hear what it sounds like without going through those things. So here's a chorus real quick of those drums. This is going to be first through the DAW only, so no analog gear. Here's what that sounds like. Here's the 5059. We'll go back to the in the box version. And here's the Neve and the Burl. All right, so there we have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, I'm a big fan of both of these pieces of gear. Rupert Neve Designs and Burl have done a fantastic job in the quality of the gear that you're getting here and the components. I certainly can hear the warmth and the just the sweetness that it provides the song. So I'm going to dive in a second. I want to explain a couple things. There is a video you can find somewhere online of the creator of the Burl. I'm blanking on his name. Go look that up. But he talks in great detail about Class A and Discrete components and why they are so much more pleasing to the human ear. It has a lot to do with distortion that happens at the midpoint of these transients. And so clarity apparently is a really important aspect to why a lot of people tend to love that classic kind of console sound. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Drop in the comments what you guys think about the sound here. I'm just curious your all's thoughts. Also, if you have questions on how my system's set up or maybe how you might want to run it at your studio, I'm happy to give you guys some thoughts on that. Hopefully be of service and help to you guys. So later. Thanks for everything.